Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here. Just back to do a recent finds video. Just want to share with you some of the recent finds since the last recent finds video, as well as two very cool pieces of VCLT that I want to share and give a big thanks as well. So yeah, let's just kind of jump right into it. Mixture of things as always, but let's start off first with the VCLT. The first one I want to share here is this one right here, which is All Sinners. We Are the Unplugged. This is kind of cool because this one is one that's a little close to the vinyl community. JC, you guys know him, the Flip Side. He sent this over to me. Actually sent out a number of copies of this because he has a pretty close connection with this band, because one of the guys in the band named Roger actually owns Purchase Street Records in New Bedford, Massachusetts, which is just kind of a store that JC has visited since forever, and he's really good friends with him, that type of thing. And they've had a few different albums that have come out, and this was one that just recently came out that's, just like it says, it's an unplugged. And I actually tried to shoot a video with this at the shop the other day when I was playing it, and it didn't quite come out right. So I was hoping just to kind of, put a little bit of a clip out there. But yeah, really, really cool album. Like I said, it's unplugged. A lot of cool songs, some different covers that they do on this. But the one that really kind of caught my attention, that really made me want it in the first place, is they did a acoustic version, an unplugged version of Billy Squier's In the Dark. And I just heard that and I was like, man, that is just freaking killer. And had to have one. And JC was just so nice to grab one and send it out. So yeah, JC, cannot thank you enough, man. And yeah, if you're interested, definitely check this out. You can go look up Purchase Street Records. I know they're on Instagram. I think they're on Facebook too, but I definitely know Instagram. And definitely worth maybe checking out, getting a copy of this. Again, just a really, really awesome album. And it's kind of cool because with some of the purchase things on the inside, like he put some cool stickers and stuff in there for me, but you can kind of see with their ordering form there, they kind of played off the old Kiss one there, which is kind of awesome. But yeah, really, really great band, awesome album. And like I said, In the Dark is already my favorite song by Billy Squier. So when they did just an awesome acoustic version of it, that was like a must have. So yeah, All Sinners, definitely go check them out. Really, really cool band. The second piece of VCLT I got is from my boy Jason over at Vinyl Spins. And it's this right here, which is something I hadn't heard of before. But it's a Drab Majesty, and the name of the album is Modern Mirror. Came out in 2019. Excuse me. And I know Jason kind of thought this would be one that I would like, and I did, because he and I are just huge 80s fans. Obviously, like we love the 80s synth pop and rock and just all of that stuff. And this is kind of a modern band that brings a little bit of a Depeche Mode-y kind of synthy thing, but they sound very, very 80s. And just, again, never heard them before, and Jason heard it and thought I would dig it and sent this over, and he was exactly right. It's just really, really cool new discovery right there. So again, that's a Drab Majesty for any of you 80s fans out there. Get this real quick over here. Brought this home from the shop this past weekend, and it is Fleetwood Mac. This is the new box set, 1975 to 1987. And I'll just kind of give you a look at the back there. Just kind of a new box set. You get really kind of the classic albums going into the 80s right there, including my favorite Fleetwood Mac album, which is Tango in the Night. But yeah, just another cool box set that came out, and I just kind of wanted to get it. As always, I mean, I've kind of kept this one sealed. It's going to go right back up here with all my other sealed box sets. And that's because, like, really, I have great pressings of every single one of these albums, including the new Mo-Fi's that came out with those two. So yeah, I don't really feel like I have a need to have to dive into this, but this kind of comes back to part of the collector in me, where I thought it was a cool box set and I wanted to have it, and I just kind of used my store credit to grab it. So that's Fleetwood Mac. Great set though. If you don't have all those albums, a great one to grab. And then my boy Billy Idol, Dream Into It. This is his new album that just came out. The first album I ever bought out of a store, like actual, album out of a store, was back in 5th grade. And it was Billy Idol's Rebel Yell, which was actually his second album. And then you just think 5th grade till now, and Billy is still putting out new music, which is just awesome. So this is Dream Into It. His new album just came out a few days ago. I still have not had a chance to spin it yet, but any new stuff by Billy is golden. So looking forward to diving into that one really soon. And then a couple of Analogue productions here. Start off here with Dusty Springfield in Memphis. Classic album here from 1969. Son of a Preacher Man, a lot of great stuff there. Had a chance to spin this one. Yeah, it really does sound fantastic. Just another really awesome Analogue Productions pressing there. And so it's nice to get that too, because I got rid of my old version, because again, I thought that one was just so awesome. Sounded fantastic. And then I also picked up Donny Hathaway, Everything is Everything. Another nice Analogue Productions release. And of course here, I guess like the big hit that you have off here is The Ghetto. That was a huge song. I know Too Short did a sample that for his song The Ghetto, actually. But yeah, another classic kind of R&B album there. Great Analogue Productions pressing. And then the next batch, actually before I dive into that, let me dive into something I haven't shown, which is the few things I picked up for Record Store Day. Because I've actually, I usually don't show stuff for Record Store Day right when it happens, because it's obviously everybody and their mom puts up Record Store Day's videos, and I just feel like, what's the point of showing it since everybody's talking about it? But now that it's kind of passed a little bit, I'll just kind of share what I picked up, which is Tesla, and this is that Reel to Reel 2. That's actually the volume 1 from Record Store Day last year. But it's just Tesla doing covers. I mean, both of the albums are. But I tell you what, man, this is freaking impressive. Not just from the standpoint that, it's great music and that type of thing, but like Tesla just shows how fantastic musicians that they are. Because when you look at that list, all the young dudes, and they nail it. And then they do Shooting Star by Bad Company and nail it. But then look at number 7 there. I Want to Take You Higher by Sly and the Family Stone, and they kill it. And then they come right back, do War Pigs by a Black Sabbath, and they nail it. I mean, just so freaking impressive. Just fantastic musicians, and like these two reels, Volume 1 and Volume 2, just kind of prove it. So I wasn't really going to pick up either one, and I kind of got talked into it by some of my fellows at the shop, and I'm so glad they did, because both of those are fantastic albums. And then a little Craig Mack. This is another release for Record Store Day, Project Funk the World. And of course, you had the big hit on here, Flavor in Your Ear, just one of the most perfect hip-hop songs of all time. That's from 1994 when this album was released. So that was a great one to get. And the only other one I picked up was Dada. This was one that was pretty popular with Puzzle, and of course, Disneyland's on here, which probably the biggest hit off of that, I guess. But yeah, so that's basically the 3 things I picked up for Record Store Day. I really didn't go that crazy or have that much. Now, the last thing I'm going to show here is another buddy of mine who has another store. He knows I'm a huge 80s R&B fan, so anytime he gets in cool 80s R&B collections, which Travis cannot thank you enough, he'll call me up to actually come and just kind of look through them before he even puts them out, which is just fantastic. And I love this 80s R&B stuff because not only is it some of the fantastic music that I grew up on, but it's the records that are so hard to find, especially in good condition, but they're oftentimes $3 records, maybe $5 records or something. Like, they're very, very inexpensive. You just can't find the freaking things, especially in great condition. And he got in a heck of a collection, and traded me some stuff just very, very cheap, which was awesome. So let me just kind of dive through that really quick. Force MD's Touch and Go. Another classic band from that mid-late 80s time period. Freddie Jackson. Don't Let the Love Slip Away. And again, I'm not sure. I know some people here are kind of into the 80s R&B, so I won't go through like a bunch of songs, a song list and everything. But again, just another one of the legendary names from that mid to late 80s R&B time frame. Renee and Angela, and this is one I kind of forgotten about, and luckily I was FaceTiming with Jason, and he mentioned this one to me, and he was like, "Yeah, that's one you ought to get, man. If you don't get it, I'll take it." And so I'm glad he did, because I forgot about the song "I'll Be Good," which is one of their big hits. But the song "You Don't Have to Cry" is actually one that I used to listen to all the time on BET Soul, Video Soul, I should say, and just didn't realize it was them. So just another blast of my childhood right there, which is awesome. Another really cool band, Loose Ends. Just again, kind of an artsy kind of R&B band, which I think they were actually originally from the UK. So they were just a little bit different than what was going on with some of the other 80s R&B bands, but just fantastic. And talk about a band whose albums just don't pop up that often at all. So that was a fantastic one. And then the next ones were really cool. Climax. It was awesome to add some more Climax to the collection. This was an all-female band, and I oftentimes compare them to Cameo, where I always say that Cameo was kind of, Word Up and all that. They were kind of the most rock and roll R&B band, where they kind of did R&B with a rock and roll attitude. It didn't have to make sense. They just did what they felt, what came to them, and Climax is kind of the female version of that. So I definitely had heard about that album, but there was also a couple of Climax albums that I had never heard about. Girls Will Be Girls. This is another one right here. So just another new one to discover. Music by them I had never heard before, which was awesome. And then Never Underestimate the Power of a Woman. Another album by them. This came out in 1981. And again, just some of that 80s R&B that was just really, really fantastic. So 2 new albums to discover by them was really, really cool. And then you got New Shoes, Told You So. A lot of people probably remember her from the bigger hit she had in the 80s off her previous album, which was I Can't Wait. I mean, that was a pretty big hit. But this kind of follows on those same lines where, she's kind of popish, kind of R&B-ish, with songs like I Can't Wait. A lot of people thought that she was black until they actually had a chance to see her, perform, that type of thing. But yeah, more cool stuff there. And then the last 2, I found this copy of AC/DC, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Kind of a nice promo copy there, gold stamp promo, which was awesome. So kind of did a bit of an upgrade on my copy there. And last but not least, a pretty cool piece I found in a dollar bin, which was Herb Albert. I'm sorry, this is Rise. Another one that I had wanted, and found that beautiful copy in great condition in the shrink with the hype sticker. This is his 1979 release. And of course, on this one, for those that don't know, one of the things that made this album popular is the beat from Notorious B.I.G.'s Hypnotize. It was sampled directly off of this album. And so like you put it on and you hear like the note for note sample that was taken for that. So yeah, that's kind of a cool one I've been wanting for some time and found it in a dollar bin. So anyway, we'll stop it right there. Those are some recent finds that have come in. Again, Jason, thank you so much for thinking about me and sending that over. Really, really appreciate it. As always, let me know what you guys think, and we will talk to you soon. All right, take care, guys.